Hello, welcome back again. Today we're continuing our look at Vigny cane. Don't worry, we're like 2/3 of the way through this material, so there's not going to be too much more to go, and we're moving on to some of the more interesting stuff now. So, when we're looking at cane, everything we've looked at so far follows the golden rule. I've got to keep my hand above my head. We have looked at some occasions where we can break out, say an attack coming in. If I'm here and I have my cane on top, then I have that potential to still do this and to be safe. My head is still safe. Yeah? I mean, other than from his hook coming in from the other hand, but that's a whole different section entirely. So what I want to look at is the fact that we've really got two parries we haven't talked about yet. One of them is the one we just looked at there, which I would call the body block, or the alternate body block. This would be our normal body block. So I'm coming in here, but now my hand's low. Yeah? And I'm making sure it's angled such that my cane is on top. Yeah? The problem is, that doesn't then lead me nicely to the attack we've looked at most of the time. If I'm here, this is then really awkward to get from here to this strike here. So the first thing to be aware about if you're going to use these alternate parries is you need to reverse the moulinet. So rather than normally I was going back here and over, now I'm going over. I'm going to go over and back up in order to actually make this work. So, attack comes in, boom, there's my block, there's my strike back. Might be into the elbow, might come down to the knee, but it's going to have to be quick as well, because the minute I move my cane away from here, I am no longer covered. Yeah? So what I'm likely to do is maybe try and look to control that cane as I come in. This kind of thing, but it's going to depend entirely on the circumstances. So that's the first thing to be aware, and the same is true on the other side. If I've got an attack coming into my elbow, I can take that block down this side as well, as long as my cane's on top. But trying to get from here to that is quite a lot of work. So instead, what I'm going to do is when that attack comes in, is take it here and go underneath. Yeah? And I'm normally going to be stepping to give myself some distance away from that. So that's it. Sorry, I'll switch back around and just show you the other side. So I've got to be aware that I need to change how I'm going to attack back if I use these alternate blocks. So the question is, why would I use these alternate blocks at all? It's because they lead into different technique potentials. So attack comes in here. Previously, we had a situation where if I grab the cane here, I've kind of got to come round and attack high. This allows me to actually take those low line attacks. And it depends very much on what I'm trying to achieve. If I want to take my opponent out of the fight, blocking here and striking the head is the best option. If I want to just make a fair getaway, then I'm actually much better taking that across the knee and then running, because if he's hobbled, he's going to be chasing me a lot slower. So it gives me options to attack the low line that I don't normally have, as long as I have control of their cane and I don't break my exceptions to the golden rule. Other options is it allows me to do some very nice things. So if I'm here, what I can do now is essentially use the hook of the cane here to take my opponent's hand out of the way, and then as I step underneath their cane, I bring them offline and deliver a strike at the same time. That might be more visible on the other side, so I'll just do it with a couple of angles. So if that attack comes in again, there's my block. My cane switches and I want to get the hook, the bottom bit of the cane, up underneath my opponent's arm. So now his cane is actually resting on my wrist, and then I pass forward. His cane comes across, my cane goes into the back of his neck. Yeah? So, although that seems like quite a slow process, in reality when the attack comes in, I can move into that with quite a lot of speed. Yeah? And even if I don't make the strike, as I would have missed here, this is still not a great position for Andy to be in. So I can use those hooks. Now I can use them on the high line. Sorry, if I block here. But the problem is I have to take it down below me in order to get that same technique. If I do it from here, it goes over my head, nice and safe. If I do it from the high block, it has to come down here, and it's probably going to go through my legs in the process. So I've got to be a lot more careful about my distance and timing if I do it from the high block. But if I do it from the low block, I can move straight in, sorry. So if I come here, I can actually get right in and then look to move on, you know? Such as, you know, I can go around here, start looking at kind of strangling him or whatever I want to do with the cane. So there's these options to use these alternate parries when my hand is low rather than high. And that really gives me the options to start looking at these hooks that allow me to control my opponent's arm and cane and strike simultaneously. So they're really good moves. So I just thought it was worth sticking in a video to cover those. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. You can throw it into your practice as well. And we'll catch up with you next week.